and welcome to the Broome Football Coaches Corner. We're joined by Broome head football coach Lynn Fleming. Well, this will be kind of a commemorative season here. This is 50th year of Broome football, and this is the 20th year of Cox Sports broadcasting
Wow.
Broome football.
Yeah.
So should be an interesting year this coming year.
That's right.
Though.
It will
So.
be.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, how your off season went with that, and then, how your scrimmages have gone so far.
I've had a really good off season. Guys have done a tremendous job in the weight room, being here, working hard. Coach Cooksey's done a great job of getting them in the weight room and pushing them and making them better. We've gotten stronger, we've gotten faster, and like I said, kids have been committed. They've been here all summer and worked really hard. So we're excited, which led us into our preseason. We had the three-way scrimmage with Lansing and Christ Church, and thought both of those went well. Then went over to Pendleton, and we had Pendleton, Palmetto, and Eastside again. Thought everything went well. The good thing about most of those, we got out of those without injury. And then, of course, Friday night we didn't get to play. So, I say without injury, we got one that's banged up. A couple we're trying to get back, but anyway, for the most part, fairly healthy coming out of the preseason.
Okay. Well, next let's talk a little bit about you've had some new coaches that have moved on to other positions, and you've got some new coaches that have come, or some coaches too with new roles this year that you've had. So talk a little bit about your coaching staff this year.
Yeah, we moved. It was offensively. We got Coach Derryberry's the offensive coordinator for us, and kind of the same roles. We moved him. He's working with our quarterbacks. We got Coach Sullivan, who's previously been our defensive coordinator. He's moved to the offensive side of the ball. He's our passing game coordinator now, and is doing a great job with that transition. And Coach Moore, who coached defensive line for us, has moved over to coach offensive line, and then Coach Burris is coaching running backs still for us. So he's in the same position. So defensively, Matthew Wood is our defensive coordinator. Matthew was on staff with us last year, coaching DBs. He's done a great job. Him and his staff, and Coach Cooksey's helping him coaching linebackers. Obviously doing our weight room, but he's coaching with us on staff this year, which brings a ton of experience as well. So we have Coach Dura and Coach Fleming, who are working with kind of the linebacker / DB role. Coach Dura is primarily DB, and Coach Fleming is kind of helping out with linebackers or DBs, kind of whatever they need. So, and of course, Coach Anderson is our defensive line coach and has been for several years. So, feel real good about our staff. The guys are doing a great job. Excited to get out there and play on Friday, just to kind of see where we are. Really like what we've seen in the scrimmages so far, and so we're excited to play.
You've got a good nucleus of players coming back this year, but you've got some of those players are playing in a different position this year, I think, there, though. So talk a little bit about your returning players, and some guys who've changed over and maybe have a different role this year with a different position.
Yeah, we'll start, with up front. Eli Crow's going to be center for us, him and Jake Broome, which, those guys are going to be playing a couple different positions. And we got a lot of guys that are going to be like that. Carson Taylor, he's a returning starter for us, who is going to be our right guard. We have Levi Bishop, who's a tackle for us, who again, a returning starter for a couple years, with a lot of experience. And we got Kelvin Crook, who played a lot for us last year. A lot more defense probably than offense, but he's going to factor in offensively this year. And we have Ricky McCullough, who's working at tackle. Again, he played more defense for us last year, but he's going to play some offense for us this year. And we got Jackson Smith, who's factoring in. He's going to be ready to go just about anywhere, from center to guard to wherever. He's just going to be kind of a utility guy that's going to have to play a lot. So, that's our offensive line. So it's got a pretty good mix of from guys up from JB, from guys that's kind of shifted over from defense to returning guys. So it's pretty good balance. We have Jameson is our quarterback, and of course, quarterback for us last year, and we got Corley Turner, who's coming up. He was our JV quarterback for us last year, but Corley's, along with working at quarterback, he's playing a little bit everywhere. We've had him about every receiver position we have, so he's worked a little bit everywhere. So, running back wise, Reese Wagerman, we're working at running back, who's had a really good preseason. Devon Brown, who's done a really good job for us, and those two are going to be, have to spell each other, and we're going to have to play Booker in there too. Booker's kind of shifted roles. He kind of came to us last year with, he said, Coach, what do you think about playing receiver? And it was such for a good reason. 2 years ago, he's one of our best defensive players. Last year he didn't get to play a whole lot of defense because he played so much running back. So he wanted to shift receiver so he could help us defensively some this year. He knew that was going to be something he was going to have to do. So he's starting out there at receiver for us, but you probably going to see him at running back too. So he's going, he's capable of doing both, and we can use him in those roles. And of course we got Braden Simpson back, who was our leading receiver from last year. Just a solid player, and Braden's one of those guys too who's going to play a little bit everywhere. So we got so many guys that are going to be rotating in. We got Asher Littlejohn, who's going to be playing our tight end slot receiver. Also going to be a starting outside linebacker for us. Outside we already talked about Booker. We have Jordan Ramirez, who's going to be playing outside, along with other positions. We got Connor Eccles, who's going to be factoring in somewhere in those positions. So we have a lot of guys that we're going to kind of be rotating around just to make sure that we can keep some guys fresh. And of course, as I mentioned, Corley. So that's. So many guys going to be playing both sides of the ball. We got to do a good job as coaches, just trying to give them some breaks and trying to keep them fresh on Fridays, especially early in the season.
And I believe you had both your special teams punter and kicker back, don't you? Or have you got?
We do. Jameson started the year for us punt last year. Until he kind of tweaked his hamstring, and then Braden punted for us some, and Aiden Enfield's another guy that's going to mix in as far as punting, and so we got Roger back who kicks extra points and field goals for us, and then we got Gavin Delgado, who's he's probably going to be him and Aiden Hemfield probably going to be rotating as far as kicking off. So both those guys kind of depends on what we're trying to do that week. So we do have those guys returning.
Coming back this year too, you got a little bit of difference that maybe the fans will see. You've changed your lighting around this year.
We have.
And one of our sponsors, Premier Sports Lighting, I think who you had do that though, former player Andrew Weathers heads that up though. But it's just talk us a little. I know you haven't quite got everything ready yet though, but can you give us a little sneak preview on what the fans may see as far as special lighting now?
Well, to be honest with you, I really don't know. I kind of know what I've been told, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to kind of let that be a surprise when people show up. I think it's kind of a cool deal. So. I think it'll be neat, and I think it'll be something the kids and the fans will both enjoy.
And I think it probably will resemble something if you've been to a college game. You might see some things.
Yes, it'll be very similar.
Along the same lines on that, though. Yep. But that'll be a new feature this year.
Yes.
So your opening game, let's talk a little bit first before that. Your schedule this year. You've got another tough schedule. I was looking down at all the teams on the schedule that are preseason ranked in their classifications. Yeah. Just talk a little bit about the schedule.
It's it's brutal. It's a tough schedule. You looked in the AP, and I think we're thrown in the mix at maybe 13 or so, but you got just about every team we play is ranked in their respective classifications. So it's another tough schedule. It's exciting. It's what it's what you want. It's what you play for. You want to play good competition, and and we did that last year, and we hung around in games, and so we're looking forward to getting over that hump this year and winning some of those ball games.
What did you learn, and what do you think the players learned? Last year was kind of a tough season, like you said, where you were in those games and, 2 or 3 plays in a game or mental mistake or something like that cost you those games. What did you look to try to do to improve and correct the things maybe that went wrong last year?
Well, one thing is, hopefully discipline from the weight room. As far as conditioning, we've done during the summer just to help with some of that. A lot of the mental mistakes and stuff comes from being tired, and we've tried to work it from, I think, our coaches, and Coach Cooksey has done a great job from that standpoint to help us fix some of that. So that's one thing you learn. You just when you play a schedule like this and you play the teams that we play week in and week out, mistakes are magnified, and when you make them, it's it hurts. It puts you in a bad situation, and so we just have to be better. And I think this group will. They've been in those games and played these teams, most of these guys, and they know what to expect now and how fast it's going to be. And I think mentally it'll be a better year for our guys.
And again, you do have a lot of players returning that have had success there. I'm sure last year they kind of felt like they were thrown to the wolves there in a lot of those games, though. But that extra year should benefit.
It will tremendously.
All right, you kick off the season. Thank goodness at home, because people asked me the other day, how in the world you get to BHP? And I said, I have no idea. I said, I put it on the Waves thing, and I said, I went places and experienced roads, places I have never been before in my life. Yeah. So, but they come here this year, though. Right. But just talk about them a little bit. Their running back, who was a all-state player, one of the top running backs, or the top running back in the state, has moved on to places unknown now. But what kind of team they're going to have this year? They're supposed to be pretty good, aren't they?
Well, they are. I mean, they're good every year, especially with what they do. They do something a little bit unique. They're big, they're fast, and they run gap scheme power football. That's what they're going to do. There's no, they're not really hiding what they're doing. They're just going to do it, and they do it pretty well. What a lot of people don't know, they had the Henderson kid that was so good for them last year, but their backup running back made the North-South game. So I mean, it's just they just had a talented bunch, and they're playing. They played for a state championship, so they had a lot of confidence, and Coach Blackson does a great job over there. So it's going to be a really good test, and like I said, it's going to be an opportunity to kind of see where we are physically and how much better we're going to have to get, because I mean those guys are going to be in the mix at the end of the year, and I got all ideas we're probably going to see them again.
So what do you see as being the keys to tonight's ball game with BHP this year? What do the Centurions need to do to try to come home with that first win of the season?
We need to be physical up front, and I'm going to take this time to talk about our defense just a little bit.
Okay.
With Coach Wood, our defensive front, some guys I already mentioned, Levi Bishop, Kemar Hayes has had a really good preseason for us. Cedric Fernandez is going to be working the defensive line a lot, probably starting for us Friday. Booker's been working at end along with William Wilkins, Jackson Smith. Again, those guys are going to factor in. Linebacker wise, you have, of course, I mentioned Asher, but you got Aiden Hemphill-Shans, who's going to be in the middle. You got Jalen Ramirez, who's going to be working in the middle as well. From there, it's kind of some other guys. Reese Wagerman's going to be mixing in. It's probably going to be from week to week. Corners, Jordan Ramirez, Corley Turner, Braden Simpson, safety. We're going to be working Sebastian, Devon. We got a lot of guys back there that are going to be rotating around. But I just wanted to, talk about those guys just a little bit before we move on. But anyway, keys to the game, we just going to have to match the physicality up front. They're going to be big, they're going to be physical, and we're going to have to play with that same type of mentality. They're fast to the football. We just can't get behind the chains. Last year we got behind the chains. We put ourselves in a lot of situations third and long, and they like to bring a lot of pressure third and long, and it's tough, because they're good at what they do. So we're gonna have to be ahead of the change. We're gonna have to get second down and manageable, or third down and manageable, and put ourselves in position to continue to move the change down the field to put some points on the board. We're gonna have to score. Defensively, we just can't give up the big plays. They like to take their shots downfield. They're gonna throw their screens, and they're gonna run power football. And we just got to make them snap the ball. If they score, make it 17 plays and they score. So we just gonna have to make them go on solid and sound drives, and and make a mistake. And so I think those are the biggest keys to the game Friday.
Well, we're happy to announce that Sugar and Spice is going to be hosting
fantastic.
your coaches show again every Tuesday night.
Right.
That we'll be doing that there. They're excited about it. JC's excited about it.
We enjoyed that last year very much.
And I've actually bought their staff. I've got the Spice crew all T-shirts.
Oh, good.
That are Cox Sports
Good.
Broadcasting Broome football T-shirts. They're black with Vegas gold and white and royal blue on them.
Right.
So they are looking forward to getting their new shirts, and they're going to wear those on Tuesdays in honor of Broome football.
Right. Our guys enjoy coming in and seeing those guys in the shirts, and it was they really enjoyed it. It meant a lot to them, and we appreciate that very much.
Well, I've been in there every Wednesday Coach Tony and I play golf every Wednesday and play, and that's all throughout the year. They're still wearing those shirts.
Yeah, nice.
Not only just on football season,
good.
but they're still wearing the Broome shirts that we got there, the Cox Sports Broadcasting Broome shirts there, though. Well, Coach, good luck to you, and look forward to getting back in the groove again. Coach Tony's going to be helping me again doing the broadcast, and Alan Knight's going to do what he can. And Alan's had some health issues he had a stroke back during the summer, and he's also dealing with some heart issues too. So I know he's planning on trying to help us for all the home games. Probably won't be able to do too many away games, but we've got our crew rearing to go, and we've been trying to work all the bugs out and get everything ready though.
Gotcha. Well, we're excited, and as always, we appreciate you doing this. It means a lot to our kids and the families out there that can't make the trip. And hope you have a great birthday, and hope Coach Tony can make it memorable for you out there on the golf course.
It's always an experience.
I'm sure it is.
With Coach Tony out there, but if you get a chance, watch Two Old Farts in a Cart. That we have been. This will be episode number 21 this year, though.
Nice.
But we've been talking Broome football is one of the things that Two Old Farts talk about during a round of golf.
Oh, okay.
So you don't know, but I found one interesting tidbit this summer that Coach Tony's favorite Halloween costume with a little boy was he liked to be a ghost.
I can see that.
So, good luck tonight. We look forward to talking to you after the game, and we'll talk football and not Halloween costumes.
That sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.